Sitting here with one half of the acclaimed Mr. Anthony Bowens. What's going on, brother?
I am doing well. How are you?
Listen, I'm swell, man. First things first. Listen, how many pair of scissors do you own? Let's keep it real. Like there's no. If I ask you for a pair of scissors in the crib and you say you don't have them, do you lose all credibility?
I have a scissor set somewhere scattered across the house. I just have to find them. I have so many different things. They're all over the place. But I definitely have a bunch of scissors, but these are the two that are most important.
Absolutely. But like I said, thank you for joining me, brother. As far as following your career and how you guys are progressing and how you're progressing in general, and I see you as a pro wrestler and doing other things. What's pro wrestling to you, brother?
Life. Pro wrestling is life. It's what I loved growing up as a child. It's fortunately become my career, and it's something that I want to do for a very, 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 very long time. So there's no other way to describe it. It's my life. It always has been, and even the times when I try to get away from it and I try not to think about it, I find myself going right back towards it. So it's in my blood at this point.
What got you into wrestling? Now, what was the match? What was the wrestler? What was the moment that sealed the deal?
Sting. It was Sting. I was a kid, and it was Starrcade '97. I was seeing all the commercials and the vignettes and stuff that was promoting the match, and I was like, "Who's this dude with the face paint? He's got this baseball bat. He's so mysterious." And I was hooked ever since. And that was back then when you had the whole Monday Night War stuff going on, and I was flipping the channel back and forth. I was hooked.
So listen, for pieces of shit like me that don't think Sting is as good as people say he is, can you tell me why I'm wrong?
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I might end this interview right now.
I gotta ask that's a real question. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know you were gonna say that. And I always like for people to explain things to me because I don't know everything. And it's just for someone that doesn't hit for me, but he hits for you. Can you tell me why he hits for you? What am I missing? I've been wrong before.
He's the man. He's a legend. And a lot of times, too, there's a lot of things that go on in pro wrestling that people aren't privy to unless you're in the ring with them. And that's always points I try to make. It's like, of course, you're allowed to have your opinion. Absolutely, right. You're the paying customer. But there are things that are occurring that you as a fan don't know, or you might think is happening, and you don't get that feel unless you're in the ring. And I've been able to main event with that man, and he is spectacular. I can only imagine how he was back in his prime. That's something I always talk about a lot because I've been in scenarios back, like specifically on the independents, where I'm wrestling dudes who are indie darlings, I guess.
Right.
And people are like, "This guy's so good," and blah blah blah. And I get in there, and I'm like, "Oof! Like this is not what I thought it was gonna be. Like he's super all over the place and zero timing, and he's super stiff." And then on the flip side, I've been in the ring with people where fans are like, "This guy's boring. He can't work. His work rate, blah, 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 blah." And you get in there, and he is an absolute dream to be in there with. So there's way more stuff that's going on that you aren't aware of, that usually when you start seeing fans go, "Well, this guy sucks," and wrestlers are like, "No, he's not." There's a reason why, and that's because there's a gap that people are missing. And but again, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have it, but Sting's the man.
No, but listen. On a serious note, I'm glad you explained it the way you did because I'll never say a professional is sucks. You know what I mean? That's never gonna be where I was going.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that.
Yeah, no, I know you know what I mean. Like, because I just think it's something that people say and they're kind of flippant about it, and I think they say that with not knowing the ins and outs and what a performer goes through and what a professional goes through. So I do think it's important to highlight how much I do recognize his contributions and his talent in that regard. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's fair.
So the way you broke it down to me, bro, I'm telling you, you're the best that's ever broke it down to me, by the way. I got people that just go like ready to pile drive me, but they don't really break it down. You know what I'm saying?
I like to take a different approach because I've seen those arguments all over Twitter and in person all these years, and it's usually just people clashing. And I just go, "What? Let's just have a conversation about it and talk civilly, and I think we can get our point across."
I was reading the one interview that you had when you were doing promotion for this weekend, and you were talking about kind of creative freedom and having that at AEW. Do you feel you can have too much creative freedom? Do you feel that you need somebody in creative to kind of rein you in, or where do you fall on that line?
I wouldn't say we have full creative freedom. That's not a thing. At the end of the day, the final decision on everything is Tony Khan. But we are free as performers to express ourselves the way we want to express ourselves, which is why I think a lot of people connect so well with people here. And it's because we are just ourselves. We're not handed scripts. We're not told what to say. We just talk as if it's us. When you hear Max and I on television, that is us. Just, the cliche ramped up to 10, turning the volume all the way up. And once I figured that out myself, and I wasn't trying to pretend to be whatever I thought the Acclaimed was, and I was just Anthony Bowens ramped up, that's when I really started to connect with people. And then, of course, the scissoring stuff happened as well, and that really helped. And, and also getting incredible advice from Billy Gunn and, learning as time went on.
With that being said, what's it like having Daddy Ass in your corner as you navigate through your career, a professional, a legend in his own right, and a man that knows the business inside and out? What's it like having him on this trajectory?
It's amazing. I say it all the time. He's a godsend. Like, being able to learn from him every single week, and not only call him a mentor but also call him a friend is absolutely amazing and cool. Especially considering his action figure was my figure fed world champion at one point. And now I was trios champions with him, and to be able to be a part of that moment at Wembley Stadium, over 80,000 people. To give him, one more title run, to be a part of that is absolutely incredible.
Listen, man, despite your personal differences, man, can you put the guns over, man? I'm looking at these young men seriously. I've been watching this thing for a long time. I'm older than I look, and I see these kids, man. I can call them kids, and I'm very impressed with how they navigate this business so early. I know they have a father that's helped them out. But I watch them in promos and facial expressions and heel work. You got to step back and be like, all right, these kids are something, right? Because for some reason, every time I say that, I get pushed back. But where's your mindset that? Come on now, Mr. Bowens, what you got, baby?
I don't like saying nice things about them, but I will say one thing. And they are a perfect example of what I just spoke about before, where fans are like, blah, 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 blah. The Guns are fantastic professional wrestlers. They're fantastic performers. They know what they're doing in the ring. There's a reason why we wanted to pair with them years ago, other than before they ruined everything, before they became jealous turds. We were friends. We recognized their talent. They recognized our talent. We gelled together. Of course, we know what happened. Billy realized how crappy that they were and aligned with us. They couldn't handle the jealousy, and, so on and so on. But they are fantastic performers in the ring. They need to be given a lot more credit than what they get. And it's making me sick continuing to give them positive comments. So I'm going to end it there, and I will never say that again. No more positive ass boy talk. Because they took the tag team titles away from us, and they took the trios titles away from us. I said it before. I think it's going to end up being a Batman Joker type scenario with these two clowns. We're going to be fighting these guys forever. And I'm happy to fight them forever because, again, they are quality performers, and I do like beating them up.
Mr. Bowens, what do you think you and your partner are in your career? What do you feel you need to work on? What do you feel you need to improve upon? What's your mindset? Because I see when I talk to people from time to time, there's two rules of thumb. There's a person that thinks they're the best and projects that confidence, but there's a people that I believe have humility and feel they need to work on something and they're perfectionists. What kind of professional are you, and where do you think you're at, brother?
Well, I'm going to give you a blend of both. We are the best tag team alive. We have the most wins in the history of All Elite Wrestling. Not FTR, not the Young Bucks. The Scissor King Anthony Bowens and Platinum Max Caster, the Acclaim, have the most tag team wins in the history of this company. Former AEW tag team champions, former AEW trios champions. We got it going on. We got it figured out. But there's always growth to be had. I'm not going to tell you what I think we should work on because I'm not going to give my opponents any idea of what we might think our weakness might be. I like to strategize, not trying to give all that information up. That's a private conversation between Max and Billy and I, but rest assured we will be working on what we think might be a weakness, and we're trying to get back to the top of the AEW tag team division. We recently jumped back into it, but again, we welcome anything that comes our way. If a trios wants to step up one more time, we'll do trios. If you want to do a singles, we'll do singles. We want to get back into the tag team action, we'll do tag team. So we have a lot of goals and ambitions, Max and I, and we're looking forward to accomplishing all of them.
I love it. Listen, segue in poorly. I'm watching I'm watching Timeless Tony Storm, and I'm getting your perspective because you work at this company. You give a unique perspective. When I get fortunate enough to have an interview with anybody from a professional wrestling company, and people, because I put it like this, I don't get my information from dirt sheets. I don't get my information from people that aren't behind the scenes. I try to get my information from the source, but from what I'm seeing on the outside is quite possibly one of the greatest wrestlers alive, male or female, and Timeless Tony Storm, and what she's done and what she's able to do. From your perspective, seeing the work put in behind the scenes, do you have any thoughts? And if so, what are they?
I think she's incredible. I think she's an incredible performer. I don't know how she has the power to turn everything black and white. I saw on catering the other day, the whole catering just turned black.
The whole catering?
What the hell? The whole catering. She came in, was just frolicking and dancing around, had little music going on, and Mariah May was following around. It was crazy. But she's an incredible performer and deserves to be AEW Women's Champion. And I'm really excited every week when I get to see what she comes up with next, because it's brilliant.
Absolutely. And listen, AEW Double Nothing's coming up. There's my first AEW show ever was Double or Nothing. Some of the best stuff I've ever seen. Getting introduced to a lot of people that I wasn't aware of, which is one of my favorite things about your company, about AEW, is me finding out about wrestlers that I wasn't privy to. What are you looking forward to in AEW? What match are you looking forward to? What's exciting you about this weekend, brother?
Everything. I always enjoy our programming and our cards. I usually sit down and try and take in as much as I can, because you never know what you're going to pick up on, what you're going to learn from watching other matches. The cards are super exciting. Of course, the Acclaimed will be there. You never know in what capacity.
Come on, tell us, brother.
You never know what the Acclaimed is going to do. That's the beauty of live television and live pay-per-view. The company as a whole, the roster as a whole, it's always fun to watch. There's always incredible matches up and down the card every single night. So, and that's going to be no different this weekend in Vegas. So if you're in Vegas, make sure you come out Saturday night, AEW Collision live, Sunday night, Double or Nothing live on pay-per-view. The tickets are still available, aewtix.com or axs.com. Come out and check out some incredible professional wrestling.
Hell yeah. Listen, what do you think? Okay, so I see when I'm combing the internet, when I'm looking for information, when I'm looking for entertainment, when I'm looking for something to kind of perfect this craft that I do, I always seem to come across podcasts or podcasters with negative takes on your company.
Say stupid opinions.
Listen, for real, seriously. But here goes my point. My point is I don't like that I see people taking shots at your company as much as they do, because what I believe is for clicks, personally. I don't believe, I wonder what they would talk about if they couldn't talk about you guys negatively. I wonder what would happen if you guys were the greatest, you know what I'm talking about? Like why do you think you guys are such an easy target? What is it about this very, very young company that you feel that, I'm talking about legends, like people that I actually think are smart in the wrestling business, take shots at y'all?
I wish I can pinpoint certain things, but again, we are the alternative, and we are the alternative to a company that has had however many years, 60 years of brand loyalty and
right.
Built up. So people naturally are going to be very defensive about certain things. I'm not going to go into whether or not certain people are being tipped off or paid by other companies. I don't know anything about that, but I do know that there is this clicky bait type thing where people are profiting off of negative headlines. And of course, people want to make money. People want their website to make money and get bigger. So people are going to do whatever they can to make sure that there's traffic going to the websites. It's very unfortunate that that's the case, because whether your gripe is legitimate or not, there are so many positive aspects that we bring to professional wrestling, that we bring to TV every single week. So many quality performers, and a lot of it gets overshadowed because people tend to forget about the programming and just go diving into whatever these podcasters are saying and just letting that kind of negativity filter their brain instead of just going, hey, I'm going to turn on this television show and I'm going to enjoy it from top to bottom, because it confuses me, because I never did that when I was a kid.
Right.
I would turn it on and go, all right, I'm watching WCW. I turn on, all right, I'm watching WWF. And I just enjoyed it. And I mean, I know we didn't have the internet back then. There was, I don't know what was going on in like message boards and something like that, but I never woke up the next day and went to my friends like, oh, did you see the show last night? The quarter hour was blah, 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 blah. And then it tanked and then blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what?
Yeah. You know, it's funny you say that because I'm from the same era as you're from, and that's what we would do. We would do the channel flip thing. That was our thing. You know, we would flip from Raw to WCW, but we would just talk about the matches and what we saw. We didn't give a shit about Nielsen ratings. I don't even think people still know about Nielsen ratings. I think and key demos.
They don't know how that stuff works. Like I've my degree's in television and radio production.
Mine too.
So I studied it. I know everything about that, and people like to pretend that they do. I'm not going to get into that part of the conversation, but right. It's so irrelevant to what we should be focusing on as fans of professional wrestling. You should, whether you like either company, has nothing. If you like WWE, that's fine. If you like AEW, that's fine. Enjoy the product. Of course, there's things that you might not like, but let the business people worry about the business side of things. And you worry about the on-screen product and have fun as a fan and enjoy what we as the performers are giving to you. It boggles my mind. It's frustrating, but at the same time, it's like I don't like focusing on negativity. I don't like focusing on Twitter discourse or anything like that. I just focus on making sure that whatever I'm given that week, it is entertaining as hell, and making sure that people go home with a fun memory. Because at the end of the day, I don't care about the person yelling about ratings. I care about the tweet that I get tagged in going, I went to AEW Dynamite last night. The show was amazing, but the highlight of my night was I got to scissor Anthony Bowens, or I got to scissor Daddy Ass, or Max Caster. And I get plenty of those, and that's what makes me happy.
That's beautifully put, and I think as wrestling fans, sometimes we get caught up in the negativity because it swirls around us so much, and I do believe I understand from a certain perspective because I've been around them my whole life. But do you, as far as devil's advocate goes, do you feel, well, some of the pushback I hear is you guys don't really key in on storylines, or you just have matches that don't have a build? Is this a fair criticism? I find myself thinking that sometimes. Am I wrong in that thought process? Do you feel that you guys should have more story, like longer term story booking, or do you have just a different approach?
I think if you're saying that, you're not, and I don't mean to offend you or anything. I feel like maybe you're not watching, because we have storylines every single week. There's plenty of them, and there's also plenty of cold matches, and WWE has plenty of cold matches, but they don't get that flack that we do. True. So it's a little bit of the tribalism going on. Both companies are guilty of not guilty, but both companies do cold matches. That's just pro wrestling. There's plenty of, that's not a new thing. That's been going on since 1950. There's cold matches. There's the main event that has the main storyline going on. You have undercard storylines. And then sometimes there's just like, hey, this guy's really good. Hey, this guy's really good. Let's find out who's better. And then there's people who complain like, well, I don't know who that is. Well, guess what? This is a cell phone. And I didn't have that when I was a kid. I didn't know who half these people were. I'd have to go to physically have my dad drive me to the Barnes and Noble or the newsstand to find a magazine, or dial up on AOL to figure out who these guys are, because I loved pro wrestling. When meanwhile, you can literally press a button, not even have to use your fingers, and go, hey Siri, who is so-and-so? And they will tell you within seconds.
Listen, I'm laughing because I've done this before. I probably did it last week on the show. I'm serious, man. But this is why I'm talking to you. This is why I enjoy talking to you. I'm glad this is happening because listen,
it's not.
I've done it before. I'm like, who the hell? Like, and it's not even just y'all. I'm like, wrestling. I'm like, who the hell's that? You know what I mean? And then somebody be like, Evan, is this person? Like, Google it. I go, listen, damn it. You know what I mean? That's me, but this is me. I'm older. You know what I mean? I'm a curmudgeon. This ain't about me. I know why I am the way I am, but at the same time, I watch you guys every single week. I watch Rampage and Collision and Dynamite, and I don't hate watch y'all. I watch you because
thank you.
You know what I mean? I watch because of the talent. I watch for the development. I really do. I watch for people that I haven't seen before. It's not even necessarily the alternative for me. It's wrestling, and I'm trying to enjoy wrestling as a whole, and without being caught up in discourse and being caught up in people criticizing someone for watching a brand. This ain't, when I grew up, I read Marvel and DC. You know what I'm trying to say? Like there was no thing for me. So it's just comforting to hear your thought process for being in there. You're in the mud, and it's just interesting to hear your perspective.
And it's one of those things. If you choose one of the companies or the other, that's totally fine. But it's just the going beyond that of, insulting, wishing companies go out of business.
Right.
Like, the fact that there's no more monopoly and we have a place like All Elite Wrestling where stars can grow and people can make money, and not just the pro wrestlers, but the people behind the scene, the production crew, the people that work so hard to put these shows on every single week. We all can feed our families because there's more opportunity, and you're wishing, the demise of that because you didn't think that there was a storyline to a match. Like, come on, bro.
It's so true. Like seriously, because I said it before and I'll say it again. Nothing I love more than more opportunities for professional wrestlers to live out their dream, no matter what platform they're on. Whether it be indies, whether it be AEW, where it's overseas, anywhere where a professional wrestler can grind and cut their teeth and become a better professional, and the more places they have to do so, I think it's better for us, and I think it's better for them as from a personal standpoint. They're human beings first, professional wrestlers second, and I think it's awesome.
Correct. And to put a bow on this, make sure you watch professional wrestling this weekend live in Las Vegas. AEW Collision, AEW Double or Nothing. Get your tickets, order it on pay-per-view, relax, have a good time, and enjoy the best professional wrestling in the world at AEW. Simple as that.
Anthony Bowens, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much.